5 ways people are cheating at Pokémon Go. By CASSIDEE Moser If we learn anything from Pokémon Go, it's that people will go to great lengths in order to successfully beef up their Pokedex and increase their levels. Some travel the world in an attempt to catch 'em all, some make additional purchases for phone battery packs to maintain a good charge, and others accidentally stumble off a pier trying to line up the perfect shot. But a subgroup of players have taken things a step further, harnessing the power of technology to create their own tools used to game the system and guarantee success in Pokémon Go. While many of these venture into morally gray territory, particularly those that cheat the mechanics and skip the intended progression, it just goes to show that people will use any means necessary to become Pokémon masters. A majority of these techniques use the Android version of the game, since it's marginally easier to modify than iOS. IGN doesn't condone the use of any third-party applications designed to skip the intended Pokémon Go progression path, not only because it goes against the spirit of the game's design, but also because we can't ensure the safety of these applications. As always, cheat at your risk. Or of course you can always check out IGN's comprehensive Pokémon Go wiki guide to get ahead. And if you're one of the millions of players trying to legitimately earn your Pokedex, it's still fascinating to see the lengths some players will go. Below are 5 ways players are cheating at Pokémon Go. Pokémon Trackers. Pokémon Go itself is not particularly handy as a map tool. Street names are not present, and the only way to know which locations are Pokestops is to select the stop and read its description. This can be an issue, because there's no real way of knowing exactly where a Pokestop is or how far away it might be at any given moment. To remedy this, many amateur developers have taken to creating a Pokémon tracking tool. Using Google Maps in real time, many of these tools correctly identify the exact locations of these stops and gyms to make them easier to locate. As an added bonus, programs like the now-defunct Poke Tracker will highlight specifically where different Pokémon were spawning, sending the user an alert describing which Pokémon were nearby and where they could be found. It's technically cheating, since the point of the game is to wander and explore and stumble into Pokémon intermittently. But, it still requires one to get up and move around in order to make their catches, which largely remains faithful to the main game. Automated bots. For those who merely want ML without putting forward any of the work, there are entire bots dedicated to playing the game for you. By sending falsified data to the Pokémon Go servers, these bots can do almost everything from easily capturing Pokémon to hatching eggs and duplicating items from Pokestops. It essentially turns Pokémon Go into an idle game, bypassing the actual Go elements needed to make the core game work. It's an option for those who want to play Pokémon Go without actually playing it, really. The Poke Black Market. Perhaps black market is a bit of a strong phrase here, but there are some players who make extra fun money by selling their accounts to prospective buyers. Kind of like using an automated bottom, this is a way for players to automatically give themselves a boost in their Pokémon Go street cred without ever actually having to set foot outside. There are multiple places where one can do this, and if the Pokémon Go account's page on Facebook is anything to judge by, it's a relatively popular practice. People share details about their accounts, explaining their trainer's level, key Pokémon in their possession, and how much Stardust they're carrying, among other things. Some of these go relatively cheap. I saw one listed for $15, while others continue to grow increasingly expensive with impressively large collections. Emulators for playing on desktop. This isn't a widespread per se, but it's still an interesting one. Some players have figured out how to run Pokémon Go on their desktop computer via an Android emulator and a GPS feeding spoofed info to the servers. One user has accomplished this by running one such emulator and using GPS spoofing to take the game virtually anywhere on the map in an effort to catch more Pokémon from around the globe. In GPS spoofing, the program feeds false information about the player's location to the official Pokémon Go servers. It's obviously not the best way to experience the game. There's a reason it's designed with walking and traversal on mobile phones in mind, but it's still. Emulators for playing on desktop. This isn't a widespread per se, but it's still an interesting one. Some players have figured out how to run Pokémon Go on their desktop computer via an Android emulator and a GPS feeding spoof info to the servers. One user has accomplished this by running one such emulator and using GPS spoofing to take the game virtually anywhere on the map in an effort to catch more Pokémon from around the globe. In GPS spoofing, the program feeds false information about the player's location to the official Pokémon Go servers. It's obviously not the best way to experience the game. There's a reason it's designed with walking and traversal on mobile phones in mind, but it's still playable, allowing people to join in the fun and capture all of these pocket monsters without ever leaving the comfort of their desktop.
Check out these other amazing videos. Subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Thank you so much. Subscribe now.